Imagine a world where spirituality isn't just, a separate practice, something you do on a specific day,
Mm,
but it's actually woven right into the very fabric of daily life.
right into everything.
Yeah, where ancient beliefs about unseen forces, powerful objects, mythical creatures,
Mm.
they aren't just stories.
No, they're lived realities.
Exactly. Shaping everything from those little shrines you see outside almost every home to, well, sacred tattoos and amulets. Thailand has this spiritual landscape that is truly unlike anywhere else.
It truly is. It's a place where history, devotion, and a very pragmatic search for well-being all sort of come together
Yeah.
in really fascinating and honestly often surprising ways.
And that phrase, pragmatic well-being, I think that really sets the stage for our deep dive today.
I think so too.
Our mission really is to give you a shortcut to understanding Thailand's unique, multifaceted spiritual world. We want to explore how Theravada Buddhism, indigenous animism, and Hindu and Brahmin influences all blend together.
It's quite a blend.
It is. We're going to unpack how they shape daily rituals, the meaning behind powerful amulets, even those sacred tattoos you see on people. Hopefully you'll walk away feeling well-informed, but not, totally overwhelmed.
And our insights today, they're pulled from a really rich collection of sources.
Mm-hmm.
We've got scholarly texts, biographies of revered monks, detailed descriptions of ancient magical practices.
Wow.
Yeah, ensuring, hopefully, a compelling and surprising exploration of this incredibly vibrant cultural heritage.
Okay, so where do we start? I guess at the very core, right? The bedrock of Thai spiritual life. That's got to be Buddhism,
Yes, absolutely foundational. And at its heart is Theravada Buddhism,
right?
which really emphasizes personal practice and inner cultivation.
And when you talk about key figures in Thai Buddhism, especially within that rigorous forest tradition, one name always seems to pop up for making profound wisdom accessible. Ajahn Chah.
Ajahn Chah, yes. What's fascinating about him is his journey. After his ordination, he wasn't just content with, local teachings.
Mm.
He dedicated himself to really rigorous monastic studies, seeking advanced instruction way beyond his home monastery.
Okay.
And this really shaped his genius for, well, democratizing spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
He was known for using incredibly simple language
Yeah, I've heard that.
and really relatable analogies to teach things like mindfulness and detachment,
Mm-hmm.
showing how everyday experiences are actually opportunities for profound insight.
And his influence didn't just stay within Thailand, did it? I mean, he had a truly global impact.
Oh, absolutely. He revitalized the forest tradition within Thailand for sure, but he also drew this huge international following,
Right.
including some prominent Western disciples who were really instrumental in bringing his teachings to the West. He kind of built a bridge.
Yeah, making deep Buddhist philosophy understandable to pretty much anyone.
Exactly.
He also had this unified view of practice, didn't he? He saw vipassana, insight, and samatha, concentration, not as totally separate things.
Precisely. He saw them working together, like two sides of the same coin. That was
Yeah.
his phrase. He used these great analogies like a child and an adult are the same person.
Yeah.
Or maybe a slightly earthier one. Food and feces are different aspects of the same reality.
Yeah. Okay.
His point was, don't get hung up on the labels. Just practice. The understanding will come through the practice itself.
That makes sense. So beyond those deeper practices for monks and maybe really dedicated practitioners, what are the fundamental moral guidelines for lay people in daily life?
Well, the core is the Panchasala, the 5 precepts.
Right, the
The
basics.
absolute basics.
Yeah.
Abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxicants. That's like the daily moral compass.
Okay.
And then for special holy days, or often for those looking to deepen their practice a bit, there are the 8 rules of morality.
What do those add?
They add practices like not eating after midday, avoiding entertainment and adornments, skipping luxurious beds, things like that.
So simplifying things.
Exactly. All designed to simplify life and really focus the mind.
Okay, so that's the powerful Buddhist foundation. But anyone who's actually been to Thailand knows there's this older layer, maybe even more pervasive,
Oh, yeah.
woven right into daily life.
Yes, the world of animism and folk beliefs, it's deeply embedded. It actually predates the other religious influences.
Right.
And it's a common impulse you see across East Asia, really. Think about Chinese practices like feng shui or, house gods.
Yeah.
It's this kind of universal acknowledgement and interaction with unseen forces.
And in Thailand, the San Fra Fum, the spirit houses, they're just iconic, aren't they? You see them
It's so
everywhere.
iconic. And these miniature dwellings for guardian spirits, They are far more than just quaint decor.
No.
No, they're seen as actual homes for the spirits who protect the land. It reflects a very pragmatic belief.
Pragmatic how?
Well, that you need to respect these guardians for your own well-being and prosperity. It's practical.
So people make offerings daily. Food, drinks, incense, fruit.
All of that. But for really significant favors, I've heard they sometimes offer a whole pig's head.
Wow, really?
That's right. Which, by the way, the family then consumes afterwards. Nothing is wasted.
Ah, okay.
But neglecting the spirit house, that's considered really bad luck. It embodies this constant reciprocal negotiation between humans and the spirit world.
A negotiation. I like that.
Yeah. And each place has its specific guardian, the Jao. And the placement of the spirit house matters hugely. There are traditional rules for harmony.
So getting it wrong is bad.
Getting it wrong, placing it improperly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's said to disrupt the balance. You might even need a separate ceremony, Ting Sanja, to invite the ghosts of previous owners if it's misplaced.
Okay, so if things go really sideways with spirits, people might turn to someone called Morphi, like a witch doctor or exorcist.
Exactly. The local Morphi. They play a crucial role. And their practice often blurs the lines, incorporating elements from animism, Brahmanism, even Buddhist practices sometimes.
So it's all mixed together.
It really highlights how fluid and integrated these belief systems are. For instance, to drive out a Fai Pob demonic spirit, they might use roasted chili smoke.
Chili smoke.
Yeah, to bind and question it. It's quite intense.
Speaking of spirits, Thai folklore sounds packed with some truly chilling figures. Tell us about that Fai Pob you just mentioned.
Right, the Fai Pob. It's believed to devour human entrails.
Yikes.
Yeah. And legends say that people who misuse black magic can actually become one. So it's a kind of stark warning against unchecked power.
Okay.
Then there's the Krasu. Now that's a truly terrifying figure.
What is it?
It's described as a floating woman's head. Just the head,
Oh.
with entrails dangling below it,
Oh, wow.
hunting for raw flesh at night. And what's particularly chilling is the belief that her lineage can be passed on if she spits into a victim's mouth.
That's horrifying.
It is. But these stories, while frightening, often reflect deeper societal anxieties, sometimes about gender roles or social control, things like that.
Fascinating. Okay, let's delve into those spirit houses, the San Fra Fum, in a bit more detail. What does the name actually mean?
Right, San Fra Fum, it breaks down nicely. San means shrine, Fra means sacred or venerable, often referring to monks or royalty or deities.
Okay.
And Fum means land or place. So literally, it's a sacred shrine for the spirit guardian of that specific place.
And there's a whole legend behind them, isn't there? About 9 princes.
Yes, a really important origin story. It starts with a King Totsarach and Queen Devi in the ancient city of Pali, or Varanasi.
Mm-hmm.
They had 9 sons who were initially, pretty terrible. Fierce, crude, oppressive, exploiting their subjects with harsh taxes.
Not great rulers, then.
Not at all. So they were exiled into the wilderness. But the hardship actually led them to deep remorse.
A redemption arc.
Kind of. There was divine intervention, depending on the virgin. It could be Lord Shiva, Vishnu, a great Ruesi sage, or even the Bodhisattva in a Buddhist telling.
Interesting how that changes.
It shows the cultural fluidity, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, they were transformed into benevolent Phum Tewadaa, terrestrial guardian spirits.
So they came back?
We returned to Pali, but not as rulers. They came back as guardian spirits, residing on these single-pillared shrines, strictly bound by their promise to protect, not oppress.
Wow, that's a powerful moral lesson baked in there. Repentance, atonement.
Exactly. And the consequences of unjust rule. It really grounds the practice in a moral framework.
And these 9 princes, they each became a specific guardian deity.
Yes, each of the 9 has specific responsibilities, though they're all said to have equal power.
Can you give us a few examples?
Sure. The most familiar one is probably Phra Chai Mongkon. He's the guardian of homes, shops, businesses, usually depicted as a king with a crown, holding a money bag, and sometimes a sword.
Okay. Makes sense for homes and shops.
Then there's Phra Nakhon Ratcha, who guards forts, city gates, military posts. He holds a bouquet. Phra Thefel guards farms, fields, animal pens. He holds a scripture or book.
It's a very specific domains.
Very specific. You have guardians for granaries, Phra Chai Saphon with a spear, weddings and entertainment venues, Phra Theraphan with a tray, barns and forests, Phra Tamahara with a peacock fan, sacred sites, Phra Tewadaa with a staff, agricultural activities, Phra Tamakaracha with a garland, and even ponds and streams, Phra Thastara who was empty-handed.
It covers pretty much every aspect of life and land.
It really does.
And the design of the spirit house itself, the Fra Fum type, it's quite distinctive, isn't it? Usually on that single pillar.
Yes, the single pillar, the sao ek, or main pillar, is key. It's typically made of wood or cement, elevated, resembling a miniature palace or temple, often with 3 open sides and a closed rear.
And inside?
Inside, you'll find the enshrined effigy of the Fra Fum deity, often accompanied by miniature attendants, elephants, horses, dancers, like a complete little spiritual household mirroring the human world.
What's the symbolism of that single pillar?
It's seen to represent singular authority and a direct connection between the spirit and that specific piece of land, a very focused grounding.
And the placement we mentioned earlier, it's really important, right? Auspicious direction, avoiding shadows.
Extremely important. It reflects a deep understanding, akin to feng shui, about energy flow and harmony. Ideally, it faces east or northeast. It shouldn't be shaded by the main house, never under overhead wires, not too close to the house entrance, or, importantly, unclean areas like bathrooms or trash bins.
So setting one up isn't just plonking it down anywhere. There must be a ritual.
Oh, definitely. The installation ritual, the Fithitan Sawek, is a delicate and essential process, usually performed by a Brahmin priest or a knowledgeable officiant. It's about formally inviting the guardian deity to reside there.
What does that involve? Sounds complex.
It is quite meticulous. First, you need an auspicious date, usually selected by a priest or astrologer based on lunar phases. Then there's preparing this specific space, gathering quite a lot of ritual implements.
Like what?
Well, the spirit house itself, the deity effigy, little dolls representing attendants, animal figurines, gold and silver jars, candles, incense, gold leaf, sacred powder, red cloth, holy water, consecrated sand, Chinese incense sticks, worship tables, white cloths, a black pencil for writing yantras, and often a specific offering, like 9 baht for the officiant.
That's a lot of stuff. And offerings, too.
Yes, specific offerings are crucial. Usually 3, 5, or 9 items are presented on a table covered with white cloth. Things like floral arrangements, specific boiled foods, eggs, maybe a pig's head, chicken, duck, steamed fish, coconut, bananas, traditional Thai sweets, various fruits, cooked rice, pure water, and the teacher's fee.
So what actually happens during the ritual?
The officiant, usually dressed in white, leads the process. They prepare holy water, anoint the shrine pillar and the base with sacred yantras and gold leaf. The homeowner pays veneration. Consecrated sand and holy water are sprinkled into the hole dug for the pillar. Auspicious items like gold coins, special leaves, flowers might be placed in the hole before erecting the pillar. Then the spirit house structure is placed on top. The effigy is installed inside. The officiant formally invites the specific deity to reside there, chanting invitations, sometimes invoking Phra, San Pra, the diva protector of Thailand, and other deities.
And then the offerings are presented.
Exactly. Offerings are presented, more holy water is sprinkled over the shrine, sometimes a sacred thread is tied around it, chants are recited for directional deities, and finally, blessings are pronounced for the homeowner and the household.
It sounds beautiful, actually. Very thorough.
It is. And there are strict prohibitions afterwards, too, reinforcing that placement importance we talked about. Don't face the house entrance directly. Don't place it too low or too high. Avoid those overhead wires. Never put personal items like shoes on the shrine platform. It's all part of a coherent worldview aimed at harmonizing cosmic energies.
And it doesn't stop with the installation, right? Daily upkeep is vital.
Absolutely vital. Daily worship and maintenance are key to maintaining that positive relationship and ensuring ongoing protection.
What does that involve, usually?
Typically, offering 9 sticks of incense, maybe some cooked food, auspicious Thai sweets, various symbolic fruits like bananas or coconut and beverages. Often you see nam dang, that bright red, salad-flavored soda.
Red soda. Why red soda?
Well, the explanation often given is that the red color helps cleanse defilements or impurities. It's not seen as an intoxicant like alcohol might be. Plus flowers, of course.
And prayers.
Yes, usually specific chants. Often starting with homage to the Buddha, then a spirit house worship chant, and maybe a prayer asking for blessings and protection.
And what happens to the food offerings?
After the incense burns out, it's believed the spirit has taken the essence. The food is then often consumed by the family or shared. It's like receiving the blessings back.
Does this vary much across Thailand?
There are regional variations, yeah. Practices might be more elaborate in the north, influenced by Lada traditions. The northeast, Isan, often blends Lao and Khmer influences. Central Thailand might have slightly simpler ceremonies sometimes. And in the south, with stronger Malay Muslim cultural influences in some areas, spirit houses might be less prevalent overall.
Okay, so San Fra Fum is the main type for the land guardian, but there are other kinds of shrines you see in Thailand too, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's a whole landscape of shrines. You frequently see Chinese shrines San Chao.
How are they different?
They originate from Taoist and Chinese folk religion, often established by Chinese immigrants as community spiritual centers. They house deities like Punthao Kong, local earth god, Guan Yin, Bodhisattva of compassion, Guan Yu, god of war and loyalty, Kai Shen, god of wealth, and others.
And architecturally,
They look quite different, usually more ornate, often with elaborate tiled roofs, lots of red and gold, red lanterns, dragons, phoenixes, and Chinese script.
rituals different too.
Yes. Often 3 incense sticks instead of 9, burning joss paper, spirit money, offerings like tea, pastries, sometimes boiled pork belly. They also have unique practices during festivals, like firewalking or dramatic deity processions. And they integrate seamlessly. You might find a San Chao right next to a Thai San Fra Fum.
Then there are purely animist shrines, San P.
Exactly. San P. These connect back to those ancient beliefs in nature spirits, Piban, village spirits, Piruian, house spirits, distinct from the Fra Fum land guardian, Tipa, forest spirits. And P just means spirit, often powerful, not necessarily negative.
What do they look like?
They can be much simpler, sometimes just a basic bamboo structure or maybe a small platform under a sacred tree, perhaps a miniature traditional Thai house. It varies a lot.
And the spirits themselves.
They're often classified as benevolent or potentially malevolent. The rituals around them, often led by elders or spirit mediums, really reinforce community ties and social cohesion. Offerings might include local food, rice liquor, sometimes even animal sacrifices in certain traditions. And the stories about these spirits serve as social guides or warnings.
And we also see shrines dedicated specifically to Hindu deities, right? Even though it's a predominantly Buddhist country.
Yes, absolutely. Brahmanism and Hinduism have had a profound influence, especially through court rituals historically, but it's filtered down. Brahma shrines are very common, especially the Erawan shrine in Bangkok.
The four-faced
Oh,
Brahma.
that's the one. Venerated for creation, success, prosperity. His shrines are often open-sided, accessible, frequently in public or commercial spaces. One strict rule,
Oh,
only vegetarian offerings for Brahma.
interesting. Who else?
Shiva, Phra Iswan, is worshipped, often represented by the Shiva lingam as a symbol of fertility and cosmic power. Ganesha, Phra Fikanet, is hugely popular.
The elephant god.
Yes, the remover of obstacles, patron of arts, wisdom, and intellect. Worship is often quite pragmatic. People pray for help with exams, career success, overcoming challenges.
And Vishnu.
Vishnu, Phra Narai, is invoked too, often for overcoming obstacles and bestowing power. Similar to Brahma, worship often requires prior veneration of Ganesha first and strictly vegetarian offerings.
It's amazing how layered it is. You even see shrines for sacred animals.
Definitely. The Naga, the mythical serpent or dragon, is hugely revered, especially in the northeast along the Mekong River.
Associated with water and fertility.
Yes, and seen as protectors of Buddhism. The Naga fireball phenomenon in the Mekong is a major event linked to them. And there's the tiger. The Chao Pho Suya Shrine in Bangkok is famous.
What's the tiger associated with?
Power, authority, granting blessings for business, health, fortune. And even crocodiles have their place in some local legends and shrines, seen as powerful spiritual mediators between worlds.
Wow. Okay, so we have this rich tapestry of beliefs, shrines everywhere. Now let's get into how these beliefs manifest in more, let's say, active practices. Magic, amulets, sacred tattoos. You mentioned forest monks wandering earlier, the Tudong practice.
Yes, the Tudong practice. It's fundamental for many in the forest tradition. Monks wander alone, often through remote areas, forests, mountains, carrying minimal possessions.
Why?
To deepen their insight, practice detachment, rely on alms, face challenges. It's a very intensive form of practice. They only stop wandering for the 3-month rainy season retreat, called Fansa, when they usually stay in one place for communal practice and study.
And within this tradition and beyond it, some monks become legendary, not just for their wisdom, but for perceived miracles, right?
Yes, definitely. There are figures whose stories are filled with extraordinary events. Consider Luang Por Pan of Wat Bang Nam Ko. He's often called the Diamond Armor Monk.
Diamond armor.
Yeah. He was known for uniquely blending rigorous study of Buddhist scriptures with traditional medicine and, yes, magical practices, sayasat. He became incredibly famous for his protective amulets and blessings, particularly something called the Diamond Blessing, or Yant Kropech. His legacy, his amulets, his relics, they are still deeply revered today. These figures really anchor faith for many people.
What's fascinating, though, is how some monks seem to differentiate between these worldly powers and actual spiritual liberation.
That's a crucial point and a really important distinction made by some highly respected masters. For example, Porton Cloy, a revered monk from southern Thailand. He acknowledged Sayasat, the Thai occultism or sacred powers. He was known to possess them himself.
Right.
But he made a very clear distinction. He referred to these as mundane superknowledges, and he explicitly stated they cannot lead to vimutti, true liberation or enlightenment. He warned against exploitation and stressed that wisdom and morality, the core Buddhist path, were paramount. It's a vital philosophical nuance within the broader landscape of practice.
So acknowledging the power, but putting it in its place, essentially.
Exactly. It's not the ultimate goal.
And then you have figures like Phra, believed to grant luck and fortune.
Yes, Fra is a disciple of the Buddha, renowned in the scriptures for always receiving abundant alms and requisites due to his past merit. So he's venerated specifically for choklap luck and good fortune.
And people believe his relics do things?
Yes, his relics are said to sometimes perform miracles, maybe multiplying, changing color, things like that. For devotees, this is seen as tangible proof of his accumulated merit and spiritual power, reinforcing their faith.
Any other examples of these legendary monks?
Well, there's the Wangfu Luang Phuong of Wat Saket, sometimes called the 500-year-old monk, though that's more legend. He was celebrated for life-saving miracles, his powerful protective amulets granting invincibility, Kongkrapan, and also for bringing luck, especially in gambling or business. There are powerful stories about him using his abilities to help Cambodian refugees during the war years.
These stories really solidify their status, don't they?
They absolutely do. They become part of the living tradition.
But perhaps the ultimate sacred objects in this context would be the Buddha relics themselves, the Sarakathat.
Arguably, yes, for many Buddhists. Sarakathat are believed to be the miraculously transformed physical remains like bone fragments or pearl-like substances of the Buddha, or highly enlightened disciples, arahants.
And they have power.
They're believed to possess inherent spiritual power. Stories abound of them multiplying, changing size or color, emitting light. They serve as incredibly potent focal points for faith and veneration. The relic enshrined in the Golden Mountain Temple, Wat Saket, in Bangkok, originally found in India and gifted to Thailand's King Rama V, is a major pilgrimage site.
Okay, so shifting from relics to amulets that people wear. What's considered the absolute king? Is it the Phra Somdet?
The Phra Somdet, yes, often called the King of Amulets, absolutely. Right. The truly legendary ones made by Somdet Phra Putachan to Promorangsi of Wat Rakhine back in the 19th century are incredibly rare and can fetch astronomical prices, millions of baht.
Millions, wow.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that later versions or even reproductions blessed by respected monks are still seen by many as equally authentic and sacred in spiritual terms. It highlights that the value isn't purely monetary, it's about the connection and the perceived power.
And these are often made with a special sacred powder, Monsarn. What actually goes into that? It sounds mysterious.
Monsarn is incredibly specific, yes. It's a carefully prepared mixture, a blend of highly symbolic ingredients. It might include things like jasmine rice collected from monks' alms bowls, special types of raw bananas, pollen from sacred flowers, ground seashells representing purity, perhaps special oils like nam man yan, sandalwood oil, sometimes even fragments of older sacred amulets ground down.
So it's not just random stuff?
Not at all. Each ingredient isn't just a physical component. It's chosen for its symbolic meaning, its perceived spiritual properties. Collecting and blending them is part of the ritual process. It turns the amulet into a kind of miniature cosmos of intention and power. Collectors even look for signs of authenticity in the texture, like tiny pinprick holes called rukim from escaping moisture during drying. It's a very deliberate, almost alchemical process.
Are there other highly valued amulet makers?
Oh yes, many. For Phra's Somdet-style amulets, Luang Kunak of Wat Rakhine, who passed away in 1971, is highly respected. His amulets are often considered a top choice if you can't obtain an original Somdet II. Sometimes his amulets even contain fragments of the original Somdet II amulets, which makes them particularly sought after.
Okay, then there are those amulets that look, well, quite different. Pallid kick, the phallic amulets.
Ah, yes, pallid kick. They are quite direct, visually, aren't they?
Definitely.
But calling them just phallic amulets maybe misses the nuance. You described them earlier as metaphysical technology, and I think that's a good way to look at it. Well, they clearly have roots in Hindu Shiva Lingam worship, which represents cosmic creative power. I got absorbed and adapted into Thai folk practice. but it's seen as more than just a fertility symbol now. The power is thought to derive from a combination of things. The specific materials used, certain woods or metals believed to conduct energy well, the geometry or form itself, the yantras or sacred scripts inscribed on it, the ritual activation by the master monk or Ajahn, and crucially, the relationship the wearer develops with it.
So the whole system, what are they used for?
Still widely used, actually, often for practical benefits, attracting business or customers, mahalat, pokasap, enhancing charm or attraction, mahasana, protection from dangers like animal bites or accidents, klad, even deflecting black magic. It's a fascinating example of ancient symbolism meeting very contemporary needs.
That is complex. And then there's leklai, this mythical adamantine substance. That sounds like something out of pure fantasy.
It really does, doesn't it? Leklai, sometimes called that gate. It's considered a sacred elemental substance, often metallic, believed to be semi-alive, perhaps housing a powerful spirit, maybe a roezi or a deva.
Semi-alive?
Yes, it's credited with immense supernatural powers, making the wearer invulnerable, kankrapan, deflecting weapons, mahaut, promoting well-being, healing. And a key part of the legend is that true leklai cannot be bought or sold commercially, though you certainly see things marketed as such.
So how do people actually obtain it then, if it exists?
According to tradition, it's obtained through an extraordinary and dangerous ritual called kat leklai, which translates roughly to cutting leklai. This has to be performed by a highly adept master, usually a monk or ruezi with deep meditative attainment, samadhi, in remote sacred caves where leklai is believed to reside.
What does the ritual involve?
It involves intense concentration, chanting specific mantras, and using psychic power to essentially coax the leklai, which might be flowing in liquid form within the rock, to emerge. Often it's coaxed into the master's alms bowl, sometimes using honey as bait, as leklai is said to eat honey.
Eat honey?
Yes, it's considered a living being, perhaps a deva reborn on Earth due to past karma. Some believe it needs to be fed honey regularly, and that it even excretes a residue called ki leklai. It's truly deep into the esoteric side of Thai belief.
Incredible. Okay, moving to another fascinating one, Kuman Thong, the child effigy. Those have rather intense origins, don't they?
Yes, the golden child.
Yeah.
Traditionally, the most potent and highly controversial and illegal methods described in old texts involved obtaining remains from a stillborn fetus or a baby who died in the womb.
Wow, okay, that's dark.
Extremely. However, it's crucial to stress that modern ethical Kuman Thong creation doesn't involve that. Instead, masters use sacred materials like clay from 7 cemeteries, specific auspicious woods or metals. The key is the ritual. A spirit, often considered the wandering spirit of a child, is invited and invoked into the effigy using powerful chants and concentration.
And the owner has responsibilities.
Oh, absolutely. It's a serious commitment. The owner must treat the Kuman Thong like their own child, giving it offerings daily like red soda, sweets, toys, talking to it, taking care of it. In return, the kuman is believed to help the owner, perhaps warning of danger, attracting wealth, or assisting in business. Neglecting it is said to bring bad luck.
Even more potent and perhaps more dangerous sounding is Nam Man Pray oil.
Nam Man Pray, yes. This is perhaps one of the most potent and spiritually perilous substances in Thai occultism. It's traditionally described as a fluid, often oil extracted from beneath the chin or forehead of the corpse of a pregnant woman who died violently, usually along with her unborn child.
Why that specific source?
The belief is that the violent, untimely death creates a very powerful, unsettled, and potent spirit, or sometimes 2 spirits, mother and child. Extracting the oil is considered extremely dangerous.
What does the ritual involve? It sounds incredibly risky.
It is described as intense and requiring immense spiritual fortitude and knowledge from the adept, often a lay sorcerer, more fine. It usually happens alone, at night, in a cemetery. Permission might need to be sought from the cemetery guardian spirit. Special tools, like a consecrated knife, are used, along with specific chants to control and bind the ghost. Sometimes a candle flame is used near the corpse to ask the spirit where the oil can be found.
That sounds absolutely terrifying. Are there strict rules for using it? Because it sounds like it could easily be misused.
Absolutely crucial rules. The user needs a strong mind and often a specific kata mantra to control the spirit associated with the oil. Daily offerings and dedication of merit are usually required, and it's strictly forbidden for any purpose that breaks the 5 precepts, especially adultery or causing harm to others.
What happens if it's misused?
The belief is that misuse brings severe karmic retribution, spiritual pollution, and potentially terrible curses or haunting from the enraged spirit. If it is used, say for protection or legitimate attraction, Any merit gained must be dedicated back to the spirit to help it find peace and move on. It truly highlights that razor's edge between power and extreme danger in these esoteric practices.
Okay, wow. Finally, let's talk about something many people might have seen or heard about. Sak Yant, the secret tattoos. These have really blown up internationally, haven't they?
They really have, thanks in part to celebrities, yeah. They beautifully blur the line between art, spirituality, and perceived magical protection.
Where do they come from?
They have ancient roots, tracing back to indigenous Southeast Asian tribal tattooing traditions, blended with Indian concepts of yantras, mystical diagrams, and Palace and Skrishmer incantations, all absorbed into a primarily Buddhist cultural context. Historically, ancient warriors, maybe going back to the Khmer Empire or Ayutthaya period, used them for protection in battle,
Believing they made them invincible?
believing they could make the skin tougher against blades and even bullets. Yes, that Panchadri power.
What kind of designs do you see, and what powers are they supposed to grant?
The designs are incredibly varied. You have geometric yantras, like the Yant Ha 2, 5 lines, or Yant Gao Yord, 9 peaks. You see animistic symbols, tigers, lizards, crocodiles, mythical creatures from the Himmapan forest like Garuda or Hanuman, figures from the Ramakian epic. And often these images are interwoven with sacred script, usually Pali, sometimes Sanskrit or ancient Khmer, which are believed to activate and channel the power.
And the powers. Beyond invincibility.
Oh, a whole range. Panchadri is invincibility against sharp weapons. There's Maha-Ut, believed to literally stop guns from firing or bullets from leaving the barrel. Mahasana is for charm, attraction, popularity, likability. Klai-Klad is for evasion, avoiding accidents or danger. Choklap is for luck, fortune, maybe winning the lottery. And then there's Metamahaniam, for loving kindness and compassion from others. Some yants are even associated with Tomkam, performing specific magical actions, though that often drifts away from mainstream Buddhist ethics.
And who performs these tattoos? The masters, the Ajarns.
Exactly. The Ajarns. They can be monks, sometimes highly revered ones. They could be Brahmin lay masters, or they could be Ruwezi hermits. Each master often has their own lineage, specific Wicca, knowledge, magic, and style.
What about the tools? Is it still done traditionally?
Traditionally, it was done with a long, sharpened bamboo stick or metal spike, the Maesak or Kemsak. That's still practiced, especially at famous temples like Wat Bang Phra. The rhythmic tapping is part of the ritual. However, many modern Ajarns, especially those working privately, now use electric tattoo machines for hygiene and precision, though they still perform the blessing rituals. Hygiene practices have generally improved in many reputable places.
You mentioned Wat Bang Phra. Are there other famous masters or places?
Wat Bang Phra, near Bangkok, is renowned, especially for the legacy of Luang Por Pern, famous for his tiger yants. It's like a Sak Yant mecca. Ajahn Chah became internationally famous, particularly after tattooing Angelina Jolie with the Hatha. He has a large commercial operation now selling amulets too, and is known for sometimes performing Say Sap, a somewhat controversial practice of seemingly testing the tattoo's power by striking the wearer. There are many respected masters, some well-known, others quietly practicing.
And there's a big annual ceremony associated with this, the Wai Crew.
Yes, the Wai Crew, honoring the teacher ceremony, especially the one at Wat Bang Phra, is a huge event. Thousands of devotees gather to pay respects to their Ajarn, or the lineage founder like Luang Por Pern, receive blessings, maybe get new tattoos, or have existing ones re-blessed to recharge their power.
And something dramatic often happens there. Spirit possession.
Yes, that's Kong Quin or Kong Kamp. It's quite common during the ceremony. Devotees will suddenly enter a trance state, seemingly possessed by the spirit of their yat, roaring and crawling like a tiger, screeching like a bird, dancing like Hanuman or a Ruwezi. They often charge towards the main stage where the monks are chanting. It's seen by believers as a cleansing of negative influences and powerful proof of the master's spiritual potency and the efficacy of the yants.
Do wearers have to follow specific rules for the magic to actually work?
Yes, very important. These are the core ham, the prohibitions or rules of conduct. They vary slightly between masters, but often include fundamental Buddhist ethics, like keeping the 5 precepts, with a strong emphasis usually put on avoiding sexual misconduct. Adultery is often singled out as something that negates the power.
What else?
Other common rules might include not eating certain foods, like starfruit or gourds sometimes, not ducking under specific things, like washing lines or banana trees, not slandering others, showing respect to parents and teachers, Breaking the rules is believed to weaken or nullify the tattoo's magic.
So it ties back to morality.
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah.
Many masters emphasize that following the precepts, living ethically, that is the real, lasting protection. The yant is like a support or a reminder, but ethical conduct is the foundation. It reinforces that deeper morality.
Okay. We've covered so much ground. Lastly, let's briefly touch on those ancient sages and mythical realms you mentioned earlier. The Ruwezi, the hermit sages, they seem like the ultimate magic users in some ways.
In many traditions, yes. The Ruwezi are figures who often exist slightly outside the mainstream monastic or societal structures. They are seen as inheritors of ancient knowledge, deeply connected to nature, meditating in forests or caves to develop psychic powers, abinya, and collect magical ingredients like herbs or minerals.
What kind of powers are we talking about?
Powers derived from intense meditation, especially kasina meditation, concentration on elemental discs like earth, water, fire. This is believed to potentially lead to feats like walking on water, levitation or teleportation, clairvoyance, clairaudience, the divine ear, and divine eye. They are seen as masters of concentration and esoteric knowledge.
Are there different types?
Generally, yes. You might distinguish between Maha Ruwezi, great sages, immensely wise and powerful, but usually benevolent and unlikely to misuse power, and perhaps Chiwak Ruwezi, who are associated with healing and ancient medical knowledge, like Jivaka, the Buddhist physician, who is sometimes depicted as a Ruwezi.
Any famous specific Ruwezi figures?
Porgag Ruwezi Tefai, the fire-eyed Ruwezi, is a very prominent one, often seen as an emanation of Shiva. He's incredibly powerful, sometimes depicted with a third eye blazing. There are legends about him causing plagues with his gaze when angered, but also stories showing his mastery, like testing magic wells. He embodies both immense power and the potentially unpredictable nature of deep magic.
And just to reiterate, those Hindu and Brahmin threads are woven throughout all of this, right?
Absolutely seamlessly. It's not like a separate religion alongside Buddhism. It's integrated into the cultural and spiritual vocabulary. We mentioned Shiva, Phra Iswan, Vishnu, Phra Narai, and Phra Maitharani, Mother Earth, is huge.
Her role in the Buddha's enlightenment is key, isn't it?
Absolutely pivotal. When Mara, the tempter, challenges the Buddha's right to enlightenment, asking who his witness is, the Buddha touches the earth. Phra Maitharani rises up and wrings torrents of water from her long hair, water accumulated from all the merits the Buddha had earned over countless lifetimes. This flood washes away Mara and his armies. It's such powerful imagery. The earth itself testifying to the Buddha's perfected virtues. You see her image everywhere, especially near water sources or ordination halls.
And figures like Phra Wisanukam, still relevant.
Very much so. As the divine architect and engineer of the gods, he's still invoked today by artists, artisans, engineers, scientists, anyone involved in creation or construction for inspiration, skill, and success.
This is where it gets really wild for me, though.
Yeah.
The Himapan forest mythology. This legendary place at the foot of Mount Meru full of these incredible hybrid creatures. It just feels like a total convergence of Buddhist cosmology, Brahmanical ideas, and maybe indigenous imagination.
It's a rich tapestry, truly. A mythical ecosystem. You have creatures like the Kinnara, male, and Kinnari, female, half human, half bird, often depicted as celestial musicians and dancers, symbols of love, grace, and beauty.
What else?
The Nakhasidi, or Hasidalinga, a giant bird, sometimes with the head and trunk of an elephant, symbolizing immense strength and wisdom. The Garuda we mentioned earlier, the powerful eagle-like mount of Vishnu, often shown fighting Nagas, embodying divine power, royalty, and protection. It's the national emblem of Thailand. These aren't just random combinations. Each part, bird wings for freedom, human torso for intelligence, serpent tail for earth connection, adds layers of symbolic meaning. It creates this whole visual and spiritual language you see decorating temples.
And figures from the Ramakian epic, the Thai version of the Ramayana, like Prolak, they also embody core Thai values, right?
Absolutely. Prolak, or Fralak, Lakshmana in the original Ramayana, is Rama's loyal younger brother. He represents selfless service, unwavering loyalty, dedication, often depicted enduring pain or hardship for his brother. His story really highlights the deep cultural importance placed on family bonds, duty, and dedication within Thai society.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, this deep dive really shows that Thai spirituality isn't just one single thing, is it? It's this profound, complex syncretism.
Absolutely. You really can't find separate boxes for Buddhism, animism, and Hinduism. It's all interwoven. Buddhist ideals provide the ultimate framework for liberation, nibbana. But reverence for local spirits addresses immediate concerns about the land and well-being. Hindu cosmology provides a rich mythological language. They coexist and inform each other, and it's incredibly pragmatic, too,
Right.
addressing both those everyday worldly concerns, health, prosperity, protection, and the path to ultimate spiritual liberation.
It speaks to real cultural resilience, too, doesn't it? That these ancient practices aren't just fading away in the face of modernity.
You've hit on something vital there, I think. The way practices like Sak Yant, the use of amulets, the tending of spirit houses remain so relevant, so alive today. It really showcases a powerful resistance to maybe homogenizing modernization. It's about preserving ancient knowledge and ways of being right within the modern world. It adapts, but it persists.
And for you, the listener, hopefully understanding this interplay offers such a richer view of Thailand, way beyond just the surface level tourist experience.
Definitely. You start to appreciate the true depth of belief, how it shapes identity, community, daily actions, and you see how people navigate life's challenges, seeking everything from good fortune and protection to inner peace and merit-making. It connects you to a living, breathing tradition in a much deeper way.
We've really journeyed through a world where those lines between the sacred and the everyday just blur so beautifully, haven't we? From Ajahn Chah's accessible wisdom making deep practice available, to the pervasive spirit houses negotiating with the land, the intricate magic of amulets like Phra or the mystery of Leklai, and the very visible protective power sought through Sak Yant. We've seen how these ancient beliefs become tangible, offering real guidance and maybe real solace for people.
It's not just history, it's alive. A living tradition shaping lives right now. And understanding these layers, I think it opens up an appreciation for how people handle life's challenges, both big and small. This intricate blend allows for such a wide spectrum of spiritual engagement, doesn't it? From simple daily offerings to deep meditative practice to seeking powerful intervention.
It really does. Now think back to Port Cloy's words near the beginning. He acknowledged the power of occultism, sayasat, these worldly powers, but he was very clear. It can't bring true liberation, Famudi.
Right, that crucial distinction.
That leaves us with a really interesting question, I think, maybe for you to ponder. In a world that's full of immediate problems, immediate desires, how do people navigate that line between seeking worldly power, protection, luck, and pursuing that ultimate spiritual awakening? What stands out to you in this incredible, complex, and utterly fascinating blend of the mundane and the truly transcendent?